Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey today. I am going to start off with the zodiac sign readings, and then I will continue on to the human design profile readings. I usually just kind of mix them all up, but I don't know. For whatever reason, I don't want to do it that way. But I am making this little intro to ask you to subscribe to the channel. I would love if you would do that. And this feels so awkward for me to even say, which is probably why this is it sounds super awkward. But I rarely, if ever, have even mentioned or asked for subscribers or for you to subscribe. And this is why, because it's awkward and it's uncomfortable for me, I'm just over that. I'm done with that. So I meant to just kind of stop in the middle, once I got to the middle cards or whatever, and just be like, hey, something supernatural that, it didn't sound so weird to be like, oh, subscribe to the channel, whatever. But it didn't turn out that way. So here I am blabbering on about I don't even know. So subscribe now so we both don't forget. And if at some point in the middle of the reading you're just like, F this B, unsubscribe. It's literally just a click of a button, and you can help me out. I'd appreciate that. Okay, let's get into the readings. Great. So this is a reading for Capricorn, wherever Capricorn shows up for you in your chart. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I was going to say more, but it's gone, whatever it was. So let's get you an oracle card. It's an interesting summer, though, because there's 2 Capricorn full moons. So curious how the first one went for you. Curious how you're feeling. I don't know, how rare those type of occurrences are. In the world of, astrology or whatever, what are the odds that there would be back-to-back full moons in the same sign? Okay, we just need one. Ovaries. This is definitely a more feminine leaning deck, but of course, we welcome all energies here, but we'll read about that card after we get your tarot out. There's a couple bees in there, which, just pollinators. We have the Page of Cups, 2 of Swords, the Tower, Ace of Pentacles. That's too many. We just need 2 more. This Tower card is a bit dramatic. I mean, the Tower card is generally dramatic, but I don't know why it just seems like more so. But the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And the 10 of Pentacles. And then the Empress at the bottom of the deck. Page of Wands. Hanged Man. Let me just make sure everything is in view here. So let's see what this Ovaries card is talking about. It says, I am a creative being. The seat of creativity, the seat of creative energy within the sacred body's generative space. Ovaries hold eggs, or energetically speaking, potential life to be made manifest. Each of the eggs is formed, nurtured, and then sent forth from this space. They are infused with an unimaginable amount of wisdom and life force, programmed to replicate, grow, and then grace the world with an entirely new creation. Your visionary power is flourishing at this time. The energetic potential that is bubbling just under the surface is becoming more noticeable, demanding your acknowledgement, time, and attention. This spark does not necessarily need to be an official project or have any particular purpose behind it other than just allowing your creative energy to flow freely. Give yourself the unbound opportunity to let this power be felt and then fully expressed. You, as a human, are by default a creative being and have the impulse within you to bring this energy forth. Go forward and create for the sake of creating. I love that because it really actually even plays right into the first two cards. I think too, like it can be easy to get stuck in being practical and almost like always doing like what you feel like you should be doing. And it's definitely like this message about play. That's kind of the vibe that I got with the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups for me is definitely a card of play, playfulness, creativity, also imagination. Cups have to do with our emotional body, how we process emotions, how we share our emotions. It has to do with our intuition and our connection to it. Even I'm hearing the clairs, like clairvoyance. I was trying to say two different ones at the same time. Clairvoyance, clairaudience, what else? Clairsentience, clear cognizant. I think there's like 5 or 6 different ones. But, it's almost even just honing in to that and allowing that to guide you. In this Page of Cups, and usually in the Page of Cups, there's a fish that's inside of the cup, and that generally means like manifestation or again, just creativity. I always get the feeling with the Page of Cups that our imagination, how does the saying go? Like the possibilities are only limited by the how does the saying go? Now all of a sudden I can't think of it, and I say it all the time with the Page of Cups. Something along the lines of the possibilities are limited by our own imagination. Basically meaning allow your imagination to expand. Allow it to literally go nuts with whatever the possibilities are. Think of them all. Feel them all. Right? Like not limit ourselves to just what we quote unquote believe to be possible. It's even when I was in sales for like a split second, because I'm not a salesperson. I remember somebody telling me not to sell out of my own pocket. And I was like, what does that mean? And they were like, well, just because you can't afford this, crazy big whatever stereo sound system TV thing, because that's what I was selling at the time, doesn't mean that they can't. And I'm like, oh, okay. So start big. Start big, and then, let people tell you where they're at. But just, I hope you get my point, right? Like, allow your imagination to just go nuts. And if you think that that it's as big as it's ever been, you're imagining all these crazy scenarios, these crazy, possibilities of how things can just really work out in your life, go a step further. Push that boundary another 10 feet. Pages are also new. So it's allowing yourself to be new at something. It's allowing yourself even to go back to that kind of childlike imagination, that even, that innocence, the playfulness, allowing yourself to have a good time, giving yourself a little bit of a break. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles, earth energy, right? So aces are new. Pentacles have to do with our money, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it. It's our time. How are we spending our time? Where are we physically showing up in our lives? What are we putting our physical energy into? Anything that we place value on, anything that has a monetary value, our possessions, the things that we can touch, where we live, you get the point. And aces are new. So a couple things. The left side of the card is the past. The right side of the card is the future. Right? So we have this hand coming out from the past position. So there could be something that is just, it's circling back into your life. And maybe it feels like a new opportunity to approach something differently. It could be just a seed that was planted however long ago, last week, a couple years, months, whatever, that is now finally available to be offered to you. But these two being paired together, I mean, even too with this Ovaries card, like about creation and, creating just for the sake of creating, just to kind of get those juices flowing, right? I hope that, like, how did that sound? Anyway, so these two put together, if it is a situation that is coming back into your life, it could even be health. Like, Pentacles also has to do with our physical body. So your health, your lifestyle, your workout, whatever. Okay, so there could be something circling back around, and there's this opportunity here to approach it with this newfound playfulness, or instead of, just being kind of serious about it, it's letting it be fun, finding creative ways to implement it or to go about it or to be in the position, whatever it is. It could even be whatever this offer that is coming in, because, it could be a gift. It could be a new job. It could be, a diagnosis finally that, just really kind of puts things into perspective for you. Or at least now you know what's going on, so now you know what to do, type of thing. Whatever this is, though, it could even be a creative project. Something too that even you have manifested. Maybe it's something that you think is fun. Interesting. And then we have the Two of Swords. So the Two of Swords generally talks about indecision. Swords have to do with our minds, our thoughts, our mindset, belief systems, perspective. It's also truth, honesty, but like divine truth, objective, right? It's intellect. I also see swords as being the suit of ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego is in our minds. And our egos are created by the stories that we attach to situations, to feelings, to traumas, and it becomes the reason why we do things and why we don't do things, whether those stories were true and whether they were even ours or not. So with all that being said, the Two of Swords, we can see just their body language is a bit closed off. They're blindfolded there too. So it's a card of indecision, not knowing what you even want to do. It's also interesting too, because the Two of Swords is there's usually water around as well, which, water in tarot is about our emotions. So it's kind of like, your mind and your heart are on their own respective hamster wheels, and it's just, the gears are turning, and it can just be overwhelming. It's like analysis paralysis. It could also even be, though, that taking your sight away, like, when you take away one of your senses, then as they say, your other senses almost kind of like overcompensate, or they compensate for the lack of that one. So it might just be one of those decisions where maybe it is a decision that needs to come from your emotional place versus your headspace. It's almost like, and actually, through the majority of this reading, I've had my eyes closed, which I don't, I'm usually kind of like scanning, looking around, whatever. But I have had my eyes closed, even though I know you can't see that, through a lot of this reading, except for when I open my eyes to look at one of the cards or whatever card is coming up next. So it may just be, like that whole spinning a globe and then, just pointing to a location, and that's where you go on your next vacation, right? Like it could just be pulling it out of a hat, put all your options in a hat, just pull one out. It could even be that maybe you're just not even sure how this would go, because maybe it is something that is out of your typical realm. Like maybe there is something about it that seems less serious, which is kind of putting you into a, I don't know how I feel about that. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. So it's interesting. The Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter. It also has the fixed signs on it: Taurus, Leo. Is that Scorpio, Aquarius? Yeah. So, I know that there's a lot of stuff happening in Taurus. I believe that, let's see, was it Mercury just went into Leo? Pluto is in retrograde in Aquarius right now. There might just be aspects in your chart that are creating some of these situations, but I never really see the Wheel of Fortune as being a bad thing, whether it's upright or reversed or wherever it is. I don't usually see it as being a negative. This to me just feels like lethargic almost, because the image that we can see from, is this person just kind of like just laying there, just going with the flow, right? Versus upright, this person is more active, present is how that feels. It could just be that things are moving fast, or they will move fast, because the Wheel of Fortune, it talks about the wheels changing. I was even talking about the hamster wheel thing, right? Whatever has been going on in your life is going to change in some aspect. I typically give the example, like my own example of the Wheel of Fortune. A few years ago, I was laid off from my corporate job, and for like 8 months. And I had prepared for it. I knew that there was a big possibility that it was going to happen. So I just started stashing cash. And that was easy to do because it was 2020 and nobody was doing shit, right? So I started stashing cash. And sure enough, I was laid off at the beginning of 2021. So I literally slept for like 8 months. I didn't do an effing thing. I also had no clue what I wanted to do. This could even be that you're looking for some sort of excitement. Maybe you're bored. Maybe you're yearning to create something, just again to get those juices flowing. Maybe you're looking for or hoping for an opportunity that is going to make you feel good. It is going to, bring some joy to your life, that type of thing. But, here it's like, I don't even know what that is or if it's even possible, right? So even going back to this Page of Cups and really allowing your imagination of what's possible to go fucking wild, because truly anything is possible, truly anything. And we really are limited by our own imagination. It's like, we cut it off at the knees before we even allow it to manifest because we don't think that it's possible. So anyway, back to this Wheel of Fortune. So 8 months, I didn't do shit. I had an abundance of time, nothing but time. I slept a lot. I also, in that time though, it was like getting more and more clear what it was that I wanted to do. And then finally, like around that time, I actually did my first batch of YouTube videos that were released. I think I had them scheduled to release in December of 2021. And they were specifically for like January of 2022. And so I did that. Absolute shit show. It was not good. I was so nervous too. But whatever, I'm like, I feel like I have to do this. I did it. It was out there. And then from there, I started an Etsy shop where I would sell tarot cards and I would sell, some stuff that I also made, and I was selling, just kind of more metaphysical, esoteric type of things. And I did that for a while. And, so it's like I went from having an abundance of time to literally having no time at all. And I even remember hearing myself at the time, whenever I would like start to feel guilty or like start to kind of feel like, oh, I should be doing something. My own internal guidance, which, is interesting that I even mentioned the clairs. So look up what each one of those clairs are and see which one you resonate with, because no doubt there's one of them that you do. But I would just like hear from myself that there's going to come a point where I'm going to have to force myself to rest because I'm just going to be busy. So get it in now and don't worry about it. And sure enough, for the last, like since 2022, basically, I literally have to force myself to stop, to take breaks, to shift my focus. Otherwise, I will burn all the way out, and that's not fun either. So, that's my example with the Wheel of Fortune. Because again, right, I mean, if there's one thing that's consistent, it's change. So whatever it is that has been, kind of the norm in your life, there is a possibility of that changing. And maybe that's also, a bit nerve-wracking, or, because it is in the reverse. So, and it is paired with the Two of Swords. So maybe it's just that, you can't see what that change is going to be. And that's kind of causing a little bit of uncertainty, which is uncomfortable. Maybe it's, like you're just waiting for it to change on its own. But speaking of change, we have that tarot card, or the Tower card after that, which is also a tarot card. Hello? Like, what? And like I said, this Tower card feels so dramatic to me. And I do wonder if the reason why I am feeling dramatic about it is because you are being dramatic about it. This is coming from somebody who is overly dramatic sometimes. So no judgment from me. I think it can be funny, like being over dramatic too. It's very much true. Like anytime I am being over dramatic and I express myself as being over dramatic to people, it is very much how I feel. But also, like once I say it or once I share it with somebody, I'm like, oh my God, that just sounds so, that just sounds so ridiculously funny to me. But I mean, okay, so there's this crown here, but look at this person is just like they fell on this rock. This person is, in the process of like diving out off of this building, I guess. And I know part of me now like kind of feels bad about like seeing this as being dramatic and funny. Because if that were to really happen, that is terrible. But it's just, I think it's just like getting the point across. The Tower card is Mars. And it talks about sudden change, upheaval, it's structures crumbling. Whatever it is, it can come in fast and it can change things really quickly too. And, again, that can be uncomfortable. The Tower is like, it's only going to be as uncomfortable as you are resisting. If you recognize that these things are falling out of your life, they're falling apart because truly they're no longer serving you, whether it's a behavior pattern, a thought pattern, a relationship, a job, whatever it is. It could even just be timelines closing, right? Like if we are hanging on to things from our past because we don't quote unquote have closure yet. No, it's like the ending of that thing was closure. And you holding on to it, waiting for closure is just, it's a reason to keep that energy going. It's a reason to keep the flow happening, which is just taking away from something better that could be going on, especially with it paired with the 10 of Pentacles, which, obviously we'll get to. But there could just be something sudden, clearly, that's happening here. And it could even just be pieces falling into place. And it happens just like that. And maybe there's a little bit of discomfort there. Even this decision, you could just make it just like that and it just changes things for you. Maybe you do accept a job offer and then immediately put your notice into your current one. And then, like I said, it's paired with a 10 of Pentacles. I love that we go from the Ace of Pentacles to the 10 of Pentacles. And what's right between it is the Wheel of Fortune, which halfway looks like a pentacle. I mean, it's round. So there's that. And again, I mean, this could be something that is coming back, something that you are revisiting. And even, like I said, with the Tower and things just falling into place, whatever the Tower ends up being, it seems to work out in your favor. Because the 10 of Pentacles is success. It's also generational wealth. It's legacy. Too. Your needs are being met as well as other people. It can be community. It doesn't necessarily have to be specifically family. It could be, of course, having a position, holding a position where maybe it's a raise, but like it would be a significant raise. Because it would like allow you to save money, pay off debt, buy a house, buy a new car, whatever. With the 10 of Pentacles, there's some level of expansion money-wise. You could be moving to a new home. This could even make your decision really easy. If there's multiple things, especially like with the Two of Swords, not quite knowing what to do, the Tower card could like take out one option altogether and you'd be like, oh, okay, well, clearly this other one is the one, and it is because it's represented by the Ten of Pentacles here. And then we have the Empress card at the bottom of the deck, which is Taurus or Libra, Venus, though I believe Venus is in Cancer right now, which, you know, is opposing your whatever placements you have in Capricorn. So you could be feeling the effects of that. Speaking of the Empress, you know, with the Ovaries card coming out, I didn't even put that together until right now, but the Empress is the divine feminine. The gender, or the energy more so than the gender, though, as far as a tarot card goes. But, you know, the energy of the divine feminine is going with the flow, allowing things to change. It is also expansion because the Empress is generally depicted as being pregnant. So it's, you know, expanding something. Also reproduction. It can be, of course, biological, but it's also the reproducing of opportunity, of abundance, of something in your life. It could be whatever this situation ends up being, you feel more in your power. You feel more connected to yourself. It's like you've figured something out, whether about yourself, about your life, about how to approach things, whatever the case may be. We have the Page of Wands behind. Again, pages are new. This is very, you know, the Page of Wands is very adventurous, impulsive, maybe a bit arrogant. I was hearing that in my head. Just being like, I got this. I got this. It's fine. I got it. Anyway, I love that. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.